What's up, so fairies, and welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Cello the Fashion Fairy. If today is your first time of stopping over, you're welcome. Please subscribe. So for today's tutorial, we'll be needing these measurements for us to achieve this beautiful style, although we'll be making some adjustments. So come with me to the table so that I can show you how to make this. So for this style, of course, I've already drafted my basic bodice, and if you don't already know how to do this, please refer to my other videos how you can do this, although I'll be releasing a video soon on how you can achieve your basic body. So the first measurement there is from my shoulder to my bust, then my under bust, and the next one is from my shoulder to my waist. So this is me just showing you so that you will not be confused. So here I marked 3/4, and at the back I took a 1/4 inch. So for the bust, I'm just cross-checking to make sure I have exactly what I need. I've not done the under bust tightening, and I'll show you how to do this. So for the waist, I did my waist measurement plus 1.5 inches. I did 3/4 inch on each side for my dart, and then for my back bodice I have 16 inches. So my back bodice is shorter than my front. For my back tightening, I used 1 inch, and then for my dart I used 1 inch as well. So here I already said I marked 3/4 inch on every side of the dart, so each side has 3/4 inches. So or rather 3/4 inch, so it's 1.5 inches for both. So I'm going to show you the style right here, so that we'll go ahead and manipulate this pattern to our desired style. So for this style, we can already quickly notice that it has is a bustier, which ran all the way to the upper part, and of course it has a yoke and it has a V by the middle, like so. So this is what we are going to try to achieve. So first of all, I marked 2 inches above the chest line. So this is absolutely optional. If you want to show more boobs, you should mark 1 inch, or just go ahead and use the chest line for this. So this is me trying to figure out where I want the V to start. So I ended up marking from my chest line about 3 inches down, and then for the width of the V I used 1.5. Like I said, this is also totally optional. You should do well to measure yourself or your client to know where you want this to sit. So on each side of the dart I measured 1 inch, and I connected this all the way to my bust point. So going ahead to do my under bust tightening real quick. If you've watched my previous videos, you would have already known how to do this. So you do your under bust measurement divided by 4, and you mark it and figure out what is left. So for me, I had about 2 3/4 left. So from the midpoint of the dart, I marked a higher value towards my bust area. So I marked 1.5 towards the bust, and I marked 1 inch towards the center of my front. So you want to make sure you have more towards your bust area than towards the center front. So whatever your own figures might be, you do well to divide them like so. So this is me connecting the dart legs to the point to the under bust tightening that I just did, and using my French curve, I will connect it all the way to my bust area using a very smooth curve. So because of the width of the dart that we've already taken out, especially on our new chest line for the yoke, I'm going to be adding back the 2 inches that I took away at that point. So extending the line all the way, I added 2 inches and then I reconnected it back to my armhole. Remembering that the front and the back are not equal, I'm going to be using a bust dart to make sure that the sides are equal. So the difference between the front and the back formed my dart for my bust. So already done this, so I'm going to try to close the dart for the bust so that I can contour it a bit better. So closing my bust dart, I trued the side, making sure that a smooth line connects the armhole area. So I noticed that there was a pointy bust there, so I trimmed it out to make sure it's smooth. So you want to do this if your bust is pointy. So I've gotten my yoke for the front, and I'm just going to cut out all the darts and go to the back quickly before I come back to the front. So I'm just showing you that you can make your neckline for the back deeper, or you can have any shape that you desire. So this is my back for now, so I'm going to be manipulating this, and before I do this, I'm going to be adding a dart right there. I'm adding this dart because I am using net for that place, so I didn't want it to gape. I wanted it to be as fitted as possible, so I introduced a dart here. So for the shoulder line, I marked 1/4 inch, and I marked it all the way inside. I did this because I didn't want my net to gape. The net has this tendency of stretching out, so I wanted to make sure it would be tight at that point. So this is me cutting out the yoke for the back, and here we go. So for the lower back, I decided to do a bit of tightening, so I marked about 1/4 inch on each side of the middle dart leg, and I connected it all the way down. So trimming this out, it will make the back a bit firmer. So I like to label so that it makes putting the patterns together easier. So I marked how I wanted to place it on my fabric. So putting the yoke, I noticed that it had a bit of excess, so I made sure I cut out whatever excess I had at this point. Going back to the front, I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay, so I decided to true this part to make sure that I'm not losing any fabric, which I was. So I decided to add more paper to this and then make sure it matches with the other side. So this is what you would want to do when you've done yours and you see that you're going to be short of fabric when you're cutting. So you need to make sure that everything lines up perfectly. So now you can agree with me that this fits perfectly. So you can also measure this like so to know what exactly you are going to be losing at those points, so that you can always add them back. But I prefer to do the old school method of just putting both of them side by side. Going in one more time, I just needed to make sure I had everything all lined up, and I did. Going in with my cedar tape, I taped it to the table because I wanted to put the yoke over it to make sure everything would fall into place once I'm assembling things together. So I like to match my bust points at this time so that I'll make sure I have it all correct. So I placed my bust points together and then I placed my yoke on top of it to make sure I got it right. So please take as much time as you need to do this because this is very important. So this eliminates gaping at that point. You notice that some people, when they wear bustiers with, I beg your pardon, I'm just stuttering. If they wear bustiers that have yoke, you notice that they have excesses at those points. So this is me trying to eliminate it by placing my yoke over the actual bodies. So I saw that it had a bit of excess at that point, which I used my pencil to mark it out, and I'm going to cut this part off. So the essence of this is to make sure that when I place my yoke over this, it fits perfectly and it doesn't have any excess that I can see. So you can agree with me that it fits better now. So you can see there are no excesses at this point. So this was what I was trying to achieve from the get-go. So if you notice that you still have some excesses at this point, like I just noticed, you should do well to cut it off at this point to eliminate an unnecessary gaping and excess fabric. So at the shoulder, I will be doing exactly what I did at the back, and I marked 1/4 inch and I ruled, and I'm going to cut this off. So in my next video, I'll be showing you how I put these patterns together and how it eventually turned out. Please watch the video and I can't wait to see you. Love you for watching. Bye.